Hello, everyone. Give you guys a little time to come on in. Hope you guys are doing well. Give you guys a little time to chime on in. Hope you guys are doing great out there. Thank you guys for stopping through. It's going to have a little bit of a conversation real quick with you guys. Hey, that's Stephanie Wynn. Good to see you, Stephanie. Always a pleasure. Thank you for stopping through. Glad you made it through. Hope everything is going well with you. Always a pleasure. Always a pleasure. Getting ready to get it in right quick, man. Just want to talk to you guys just briefly. Um, really appreciate you guys chiming in. Want to talk about something real quick, man. You guys know this. 2020 has not been very good to all of us, right? Um, rough year, you know, and this is election year, you know. Oh, well, thank you very much, Stephanie. Glad to know that. Glad to know that. Really much appreciated. Thank you. Thank you. You know, this year has been very, very challenging, folks. And I'll continue to say this. I've said this before. I said this year can go to hell. 2020 can go to hell, right? But in the midst of it all, we still have to troubleshoot through this year. We have to get through this. We have to, I won't say survive, because I don't believe we were made to survive. We were made to thrive, not survive, folks. So we will thrive. We will get through this year. This year will be an experience for all of us. It's to be let this year be a foundation for us to grow on. Let this year be a foundation for us to get better as business owners, personal lives. What we've learned out of it, what is it going to prepare us for it going forward? It could be another pandemic. We don't know, but we want to make sure that we put ourselves in position so that we won't be hurting for money. Our health is on point, because it takes a healthy immune system to fight off a virus such as this and any other virus. And our immune system is doing just that. It's fighting off everything out there. And like I said before, be about 5 months in this pandemic now. By now, everybody's been exposed to this virus. Everybody. I don't care who you are. You can be an alien and you're exposed to it too, right? Unless you're from Mars and you live on Mars. But if you're on this Earth, everybody's been exposed to the virus. And this is not the only virus everyone exposed to. We've exposed to so many other different viruses that we don't even know about. So many other viruses that's worse than coronavirus. And we're making it. We're beating it. Your immune system is beating it. And of course, I send my condolences to those who've lost their lives, those family members who have to cope and grieve, mourn over the loved ones that they've lost during the fight of the virus. But in that regard, what I can share with you guys and what I can tell you is to eat healthy, take care of yourself. And this is one thing when I say take this as a foundation for us to build on and get better in. That doesn't just mean your money. This also means your health. Because guess what? I should be able to go in a Walmart and see a whole lot of vitamin C pills being bought, a whole lot of vitamin D3 has been bought. Let this be a way of learning. Say, hey, man, this thing is hitting close to home. Let me do what I need to do to make sure that I'm healthy, right? Let me keep my ass out of the Popeyes getting a damn Popeyes sandwich. I mean, it ain't nothing but a chemical sandwich with a little bit of chicken in it, right? So you got to keep yourself on point with that. Stop eating this bull crap out here. Eat green food, green purple foods like spring mix. Very healthy, right? Take in some potassium, some iron, some zinc, vitamin C's, vitamin A's. In previous videos, I told you what these vitamins do to the body and how the vitamin A puts a shield or a wall up around your white blood cells so that your white blood cells have something to shield against as it's fighting off viruses and pathogens or just say microbes, right? But what I want to talk to you guys about today, it is a message that I want to give to the government. I want to give this message to our federal and local government, because what I'm seeing now is they're playing chess with us, as they've always done. They've always played chess, and we continue to play out, not even checkers. We continue to play friggin' Connect Four, right? And I'm tired of seeing my people playing Connect Four. We need to learn how to play chess, right? And I don't mean literally like on the chessboard. I mean literally. We need to learn how to play chess, because that's what they're doing. That's what the government is doing. You got to understand something. They don't want to let go. I don't care if you're Republican or Democrat. There's no such thing as voting for the lesser of the two. That's bullshit. See, that's that slave mentality. Get that shit out your head, folks. It ain't no lesser of the two. Either you're racist or you're not. And what I'm telling you right now is, whether it's Democrat or Republican, all that shit's racist. They promoting systemic racism. If you have a government, if you have a heavily Democratic government that's giving you all these different programs because you're poor, that's systemic racism, folks. That is not a way to help you get better, to help you get out of it. And they some oh, you won't be on welfare, you got to have a job. Job program. What? Selling peanuts? What about careers? What about avenues, other avenues that help you build empires and businesses? That's what I'm talking about. Systemic racism, folks. You got to understand what systemic racism is. Systemic racism is not just recognizing the Ku Klux Klan and neo-Nazis or the skinhead. It's not about recognizing them. That's easy. Anybody, Stevie Wonder can never recognize them people, right? Systemic racism is being able to, is identifying people that's involved. And many of those people look like you and I, involved with systemic racism, selling you out, but make you think they're doing you a favor. Let me share something with you, folks. A true friend of yours will not give you a handout. A true friend of yours will give you a hand up. See, we need our government to give hand ups. We need our government to stop pacifying us. See, we need humanity reform. We need reform. We don't need freaking graffiti all over the damn streets. We didn't ask for them to tear down statues. They did that on their own. So for all you white folks that have some hatred in your heart because they took down your statues, as far as I can care, you can go ask them bring your give you your statues back. I don't care about no statues. I don't care about Black Lives Matter painted in the streets in front of the White House or painted in the street in front of Trump Towers. See, that tells you something, folks. They're using Black tragedy for their capital gain. Okay? This is not about Black folks. This is about them taunting Donald Trump. I don't give a shit about a Donald Trump or Joe Biden. This is why I tell you guys, you got to remove your political lens in order for you to see the facts, the raw truth. You can't see it with a political lens. You know why? It's because you will cheer on things like that because you're a Democrat or because you're Black. And you will get mad at something like that because you're a Republican. Take the political lens off your eyes, off your face, and you'll get to the organicness of the facts, folks. I don't care nothing about a graffiti in the damn street. They gave one here in St. Petersburg. I ain't been over there to see it yet. It doesn't amuse me. That doesn't do nothing for me. What does something for me is what Congress is willing to do in the seat of Congress. Reform, reform, reform. We need to come to the table, and we need to talk about a reform. We need to talk about reparations. Not a freaking painting in the street. That does nothing, folks. That's pacifying us. And what does that do? As long as you are cheering on that, you know what they're saying? Oh, yeah, this all we need to do is paint in the street. Shit. We ain't got to change nothing. We can continue keeping these Negroes where they at. And you don't believe me? You can debate with me all day long. But I promise you, that's exactly what's going to happen. And that's exactly what's happening right now. And if you can't see that, you think they're putting Black Lives Matter in the street because of us? Have nothing to do with us. It's all about them keeping control of the narrative. You know what that's equivalent to me? To me, I'm not, this is not up for debate. This is me, folks. I see things a lot differently. I tend to not go where the masses are going. Okay? What I'm saying to you right now is painting Black Lives Matter in the street. You know what that equates to me? Oh, let's give them Obama. That'll keep their mouth shut. They got a whole lot of secret shit going on in the background because we got Obama in front of us, and because he's black, we won't question or challenge him. We won't question or challenge the fact that they putting Black Lives Matter written in the streets. We won't question or challenge just because they taking down Confederate flags and statues. I don't care about that stuff. Who cares? That's pacifying, folks. That's not making change. Making change starts from sitting down at the table, and I'm talking about at the round table. I'm not talking about a long square table or a rectangular table. I'm talking about a round table. You know why I say round table? Because a round table, no one's the head of that table. We're collaborating. We're coming up with solutions. We're coming up with solutions where we can implement reform, bills to go into legislation. This is what we're talking about. And guess what, folks? If they don't do it, if they're not willing to implement reform for humanity in this country, then we need to step outside. We need to step outside. We say, okay, this is how you want to play ball. This is how we're going to play ball. We're not going to allow you to control the narrative anymore. We're going to control the narrative, and we're going to create our own parliament in this United States. We need to create our own parliament in this United States. And you're talking about Wall Street. You want to hit Wall Street in its pockets? We need to recreate Black Wall Street. So we got to learn, folks, to stop talking about what we want and what we need them to do for us. We can do shit for ourselves, man. For ourselves. As long as they pacify you. You know what a pacifier is? A pacifier is nothing but something to put in the baby's mouth to keep the baby from crying. That's all a pacifier is. It's not food. It's not water. It's not milk. Just a pacifier. Just put it in their mouth to keep them from crying. And that's all they're doing. I'll put a black. Let me explain something to you guys. Did you guys know that Dr. Martin Luther King always flew first class? Did you guys know that Dr. Martin Luther King always flew first class? And do you know why? Do you know why Dr. King always flew first class? Dr. King always flew first class because when he sat in coach, none of the white folks wanted to sit by him. The flight attendant would go to the captain and say, "Sir, there's no seat for him. Nobody wants to sit by Dr. King." You know what the captain said? Just go ahead and put him up in first class. Just put him in first class. Always flew in first class. We get excited because they paint Black Lives Matter in the street. That excites us. Why? There's no reform took place. You know, they talk about police reform, defunding the police. I don't care about that. I want humanity reform. You should want humanity reform. To the government, to Congress, we want humanity reform, not some damn graffiti. Period. None of that stuff means anything. You can write anything. You can write it on the street. You can write it in the paper. You can write it in the essay or things or whatever you want to write it in. It means nothing if there's no action to follow it, folks. It means nothing if there's no action to follow it. Hold on, folks. All right, had to. Phone call was trying to come in. So what I'm saying with you guys, man, What I'm saying for you guys is we need to start accepting crumbs off the table because this is how they play chess. They give you a little stuff like that to pacify you so that they won't make a reform. See, they know if they can give you things like this, just like they gave us Obama. They give you a little statue to take down. You guys know they took some statues down a couple of years ago, right? That didn't change nothing, did it? That didn't change a thing. There was still being unarmed black men killed by white cops. That still was taking place, right? And then we want to let them, and then we allow them to continue this coronavirus narrative. As soon as George Floyd died, they try to say he had underlying issues as if he died from underlying issues. But everybody and their grandmother saw that this man was being pressured. His knee was on this man's neck. And then the autopsies going to claim that George Floyd had coronavirus. You guys seen the article? They try to say he had coronavirus. Did you guys know that? So, folks, let me tell you something. Stop allowing these people to play chess. You have to learn how to play chess. If you learn how to play chess, that's how you learn how to move 3 or 4 moves ahead and knowing what direction that they're going to go. See, they know what direction you're going to go. They've been controlling the narrative for over 400 years. They know exactly how you're going to think. They know exactly how you think. That's why they go out and paint graffiti on the ground. That's why they remove the statues. Man, we can remove the statues. This is not going to change nothing. Let's remove it. Go ahead, take the statue. Go ahead, take it down. You can take it. That's scrap. Scrap. We can use that now. Go ahead, take it. Your flag is. Change it. Change it. Mississippi, change it. Just change it. Just take it. Come on. I'm going to tell you what Rothschild said. Rothschild said, I care not who governs the country. Just give me control of its money. See, Rothschild didn't care about the government. Rothschild didn't care about who ran the country. All Rothschild wanted was control of the money supply. This is how they think, folks. This is how they think. Stephanie, we're laughing. This is how they think, folks. I don't care about no statues. We still control the narrative. We still have an intact government to do what we've been doing for the past 4 months. We'll give them a little crumbs. We take on it. We put a little sign up. We put take a few statues down. Right? Yeah, take a flag down, But you guys got to understand something. The South have never stopped fighting. They never stopped fighting. They pissed off because the flags been taken down. They pissed off because as far as I care, folks, they can go and ask for their statues back. I don't care about no statues. I care about reform. None of that stuff brings about reform, folks. None of that stuff brings about reform. All that does is let you let them think you are, have them let you thinking that they're making change by doing these things, but there's no change. Change comes with an ink pen that's signed on a dotted line. A reform, folks. An agreement with black people in this country in Congress. A reform. See, and you got people who have black leaders who are responsible for putting these graffitis on the streets. But you don't see these black leaders going to Congress and say, hey, we want reform in this country. None of your black leaders are asking for that, but they're behind some fucking graffiti written in the damn street. See, this is why we don't win, because we have misleadership, misled black officials in this country, state, city, and countrywide, and federal. This is the problem. This is the problem. We are so happy for crumbs on the table. You know who begged for crumbs off the table? A freaking dog or a cat. You eat all the good food. You take the bones and throw the bones down to the dog. The dog is just happy with the bone. But the dog won't demand your entire plate. Come on, folks. Wake yourself up. Smack yourself. Do something. And people come up some lesser of the two.
Man, it ain't no lesser of the two. People are trying to take your life away from you. They're trying to take your life away from you. Live your life, folks. What is the word live backwards? Evil. People are evil. I don't care if you're Democrat or Republican. The people you vote for are evil. And they don't come to me and say, man, we need to create our own political party. We need to create our own parliament. We need to create a parliament in this country. We can generate the revenue. We have $1.3 trillion in consumer debt. We can all pitch in for our own land, our own schools, our own farmland, our own oil land. Come on, folks. We have the power to do a lot of stuff in this country. But we don't do it because we're selling it for some freaking crumbs like graffiti in the damn street. We're bigger than that. And we ought to be embarrassed to the rest of the world. We ought to be embarrassed to the kids that we're supposed to be grooming to come up, to raise up. We should be embarrassed in front of them because we're satisfied with graffiti in the street. I don't care about statues. Statues don't change reform. And it definitely does not change the mindset of Congress. The only way you can change the mindset of Congress is to change their bottom line. The only way. Prime example, look what happened with Dan Snyder with the Washington Redskins. Their name is about to be changed. You know why? It's not because the Indians kept protesting. They didn't have the money to challenge Dan Snyder. Nike have the money to challenge him. FedEx have the money to challenge. As a matter of fact, I think they say the CEO of FedEx is one of the minority owners of the Redskins. They have the money to challenge him. Amazon has the money to challenge him. See? And when they came to him and said, if you don't change the name, we all pull it out. Amazon took all the Redskins paraphernalia off their website. Nike did the same thing. FedEx said if you wanted us to stay around, FedEx paid $205 million to have naming rights for the Redskins Stadium. That's why it's called FedEx Field. $205 million, folks. I think it's for like 20-year deal. And on top of that, one of the CEO of FedEx owns a percentage as a minority owner. Come on, folks. I'm giving it to you raw. I'm giving it to you raw. See, that's why Dan Snyder is changing the name right now, because they hit him in his pockets. You guys got to understand that that's chess. See, that's chess. He don't want to change the name. He'd have been changed. He would have had the respect of now. People might say, well, there's some Indians who don't feel offended. Man, listen, if someone's offended, you always want to go with who's offended, and you want to look out for those people. Period. I don't care. There's some black folks who don't mind being called the N-word. You ain't gonna call me that. Just because there's some black people who don't mind being called the N-word doesn't mean that you should just go around and call everybody the N-word. Let's keep that 100 now. So there's a sizable group of people who are offended by the names, and they could not challenge Dan Snyder by protesting. They didn't have the money to challenge. But Nike, Amazon, FedEx, and the investors, they had the money to challenge him. So that's what they did. They challenged him, say, hey, we're going to pull out. That's what you do with Congress. Hit them in the pockets and make them come to you and say, okay, let's come and talk. And when we talk, we're not going to come and talk in front of you. We're gonna talk with you at a round table. A round table meaning nobody's ahead of it. See, y'all ain't feeling it. Y'all ain't getting it. You know why people who don't want to step up like that? Because it requires work. It requires. I'm not going to be tearing the bottom of my soles up marching every day for people. I'm not doing that. I'm going. If we ain't marching over to the Congress and talk to Congress, if Congress is not going to talk to us, it ain't no. I'm not going out here marching. That's old. I've done some marches. I've done some marches out here for George Floyd. I've done that. It's time for reform now. It's time to start talking. It's time to have a conversation now. Not lecturing, but listening to people who are fed up with being fed up. Period. Stop accepting crumbs, folks. Stop letting them pacify you putting graffiti in the street and say, okay, we see you doing all that, but we ain't asked for that. But what we do want. And that basically started with the mayor of Washington, D.C. taunting Donald Trump by putting Black Lives Matter on 16th Street right there in front of the White House. That's not a reform. That's taunting. That's racial taunting going back and forth between the mayor and Donald Trump. That had nothing to do with black people, folks. Had nothing to do with you. You got to understand this, man. Come on, folks. You got to start thinking for yourselves. Stop thinking with a political mind and start thinking with your own mind. Think for yourself. Learn how to be a free thinker. This is why 10% of the population earns 90% of all the money. And the 90% of the population is only earning 10% of all the money. It's called wages, while 10% earns profits. That's not by accident. That's by design. That's by thinking. Learn how to be a free thinker, folks. Think for yourself. If you can't think for yourself, then you are modern slaves. Stop allowing them to control the narrative. You think you're making change because they paint something in the damn street? They take down a few statues. Dan Snyder tried the same thing. He took down George Preston Marshall's statue in front of RFK Stadium. Did you guys know that? He had George Preston Marshall, the first owner of the Redskins, a racist owner. A racist owner. They took his statue down in front of RFK Stadium. He thought that would allow him to keep the narrative. And that's why he never changed the name. He thought taking down George Preston Marshall's statue was going to keep the Indians, I'm sorry, not the Indians, the Native Americans, quiet. That's what he thought. Until his pockets got hit. See, they don't want to. Let me tell you something about rich people, about the billionaires and people in Congress who are billionaires, multi-millionaires. Let me tell you something about them, folks. They would do anything they can to keep their gas on the pedal in the direction that they want to go. Anything they can. If they can throw you a little bone, that's what they're going to do. If they think it's going to shut you up, that's exactly what they're going to do. And that's what Dan Snyder tried when he removed George Preston Marshall's statue. And he thought that was going to shut people up. He thought that was going to work until the money people hit his pockets. We have the money, we have the power to hit Congress in their pockets. We have the power to hit Wall Street in their pockets. You hit Wall Street in their pockets by creating Black Wall Street. We have I think we have like 10 or 11. We probably got 11, probably about 12 Black billionaires in this country right now. And we got about 35,000 Black millionaires in this country. There's no way we can't create a Black Wall Street with all that money. And then on Black consumer debt makes up 1.3 or 1.4 trillion dollars right now. There's no way we can't create Black Wall Street. There's no way we can't create our own political system. There's no way. We have the power. You don't know how much power we have, do you? You really don't know how much power we have. We got more power than you know. But we don't use the power. We're acting like a lion in a circus. What's the difference between a lion in the circus and a lion in the jungle? See, the lion in the circus was a lion was raised from a cub to be afraid of a whip and a little chair. That lion was trained to be afraid of a whip and a chicken. And they get that lion to do little silly tricks in the circus. Jump through the hoop with fire, jump through the hoop, get on top of the chair and roar and stand up on his back feet. See, that's the lion in the circus because they raised that lion to do that. See, we've been raised, we've been programmed. We've been programmed to allow these people to control the narrative. We've been programmed to accept crumbs off the table. After they finish eating, they throw us the bone and we accept it. We think we're gonna make change because of it. See, that's all these stats, graffiti in the street or statues being removed. That's all that is, just bones after they done paid off. That's all that is, pacifying you. But you go to a lion in the jungle with that whip and that little chair that you had lying in the circus with, and try to train that lion in the jungle, a natural born lion. And I want you to see what that lion do to you. I'm not saying, I'm just saying. So, folks, you got to ask yourself this question. Are you the lion that's been raised in the circus? Because all is the circus. That's all it is. All this politicalness back and forth is a circus. Coronavirus, all of that is political. All of it is a circus, folks. So ask yourself, are you a lion in the circus? Or are you that lion that's been raised up in the jungle? A true-hearted lion that will take anybody's head off if you try to come up to it with some bullshit. Ask yourself. And if you want to say I'm that lion in the jungle, then it's time for you to start showing it. It's time for you to prove that. Because this country needs humanity reform. We don't need graffiti. We don't care about statues being torn down, flags. We don't care about that. We want reform. Those things doesn't equate to reform to me. Reform is with pen, silent. That's what we're looking for. That's what I'm looking for. It's time to stop playing. It's time to stop allowing them to pacify us with graffiti. So make up your mind, folks. Make up your mind. Are you going to allow them to continue to pacify you? Come on, man. Wake up. Stop thinking for yourself. I'm about to get out of here. Hope you guys doing well. Please be nice to one another. Share the video. Share it via watch party. That'll get more people involved. So I hope you guys are doing well. I hope you had a superb week this week. And I look forward to speaking to you guys on Monday on our Monday Motivational Power Talk at 9 p.m. So stay tuned for that. So with that being said, folks, thank you for joining in, and don't forget to share the video. You can share it or you can do a watch party. So hope to talk to you guys soon before Monday, but if not, I'll be talking to you guys on our Monday Motivational Power Talk. I have some information to share on that. And with that being said, I want you to sing like no one can hear you, dance like no one can see you, love like you've never been hurt, and live like it's heaven on earth. I'm Jay Hunter Lee. I love you, and the world needs you. So stop that damn texting and driving. Peace and blessing, folks. Have a great day.